Hello everyone, this is Thomas Gunn at Das Haus, and today we're going to make a traditional German apple Streusel cake. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself a big bowl. You're going to need 200 grams of quark. This is a quark oil dough. In German it's called a Quarkölteig. So you need 200 grams of quark. So quark is like a cross between sour cream and ricotta. You could probably use ricotta if you got a really smooth one. Quark, which is Q-U-A-R-K, you can find in the grocery stores. It's typically where the sour cream and ricotta is in the refrigerated section. So that was 200 grams. You are going to need 1/8 liter milk and 1/8 liter oil. I have those already mixed. That goes in there. Let's get a whisk. Let's whisk that together. This is a really quick dough and it's very traditional. So into this, we're going to put 100 grams of sugar. That goes in. Keep whisking. Now I need a pinch of salt. I forgot to prepare that. There's my pinch of salt. And then you need 400 grams of flour and 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And that goes in. And that's it for the dough. So let's just mix this up. I'm probably going to have to switch to a wooden spoon. Let's get that going. It makes a really thick dough, and you're going to spread it into a baking pan, a sheet pan, with your hands. So just get this all incorporated. Just so that all the flour is in the dough. As you can see, it's quite thick. And it's a little sticky, which is how you want it to be. I'm going to get my baking pan. You do not need to grease it. You might want to have a little flour on hand, which is what I'm getting right now. That's just to dip your hands into. It helps you spread the dough. So I'm just going to dip my hands in flour, just so that when I spread the dough into the pan, it doesn't stick so much. So try to get yourself just a little rim, like here, have it come up a little bit. And we're just going to keep pushing that in. We're going to do the whole pan this way. Once I'm done, I'll come back. Alright, here we go. So I've got the dough all spread out into the pan. Comes up the side just to the top of the pan. Make sure you have an even thickness all throughout the bottom. And now get your apples. So I've got, this is 7 large apples, quartered, and each quarter cut into 3 or 4 pieces, depending how big your quarters are. About this size. And now you're just going to start staggering the apples. So you keep doing this until you've covered the entire surface of the cake. The only apple I probably would not use is Granny Smith. They have, a particular flavor, and that's really not the flavor that this kind of apple cake is known for. So I'm just going to keep continuing with this. I also want to mention quick, this is also very typically made with plums. Pflaumen in German. But the plums that they use are not the round, the dark maroon, purplish, burgundy plums. It's the more oblong plums that are a little bluish in color. Those are the plums that would be used, and you would cut them in half, you would pit them, and then you would place them cut side up throughout the entire surface. I like to sprinkle them just before adding the streusels with a bit of sugar because they can be a little tart. But that's for another day. So right now we're doing the apple streusel cake. I'm going to continue covering the whole surface with apples. It works out well if you've got them prepared beforehand. And once I'm done, I'll be back to work on the streusels with you. So here we go. The entire surface is covered with the apples. I actually have apple left over, so you might have enough with 6 large apples. These apples were quite big. They're, I believe they're called Pink Lady. So at this stage, you're going to add the streusels. I've pre-made the streusels because I like to put them in the fridge a little bit beforehand. They've been in the fridge for about 10 minutes just so that the butter sets up again, because it's a bit like a pastry, so you kind of want to make it cold, bake it hot. So at this point, preheat your oven to 400, and I'll just show you the streusel quick. So the streusels, you're going to need 300 grams of flour, 150 grams of sugar, 200 grams of room temperature butter or cool butter, 1 package vanilla sugar, and a pinch of cinnamon. So if you can't find vanilla sugar, although it's pretty much readily available now, you could probably add, I would say, half a teaspoon or so of vanilla. So, and then what you do with all the ingredients is you just take your hands and you just mush everything together at the same time crumbling it. What you want to end up with is that in the end you can make a fist and it's solid, but that when you apply pressure, it crumbles very easily. That's exactly what you want. So this, streusel actually means to, oh, what's the word now? You know, like when you're spreading seeds on a field or, you know, that kind of action, that's streusel. So it's actually a verb and a noun. These are streusel, but you can streusel as a verb. So I just take a fistful, make it tight, and then crumble it and let it fall. So you're just going to do this with all your streusel over the entire surface of the cake. Make sure you get all the way to the edges. Everybody loves their streusel. You know, you want nice chunks. I mean, don't overdo it. You don't want something the size of a, you know, a golf ball. But you do want something, you know, here and there, the size of a cherry perhaps, and then, you know, the size of some peas. So I'm just going to do this with the entire bowl of streusel. My oven is preheating. You're going to put this in the oven at 400 just for 5 minutes, just to get those streusel crisped up a little quicker and to not let the butter melt so quick, which might flatten them out a bit. So now I'm just, you know, looking where I see some bare apple. I'm just going to cover that up. So 5 minutes on 400, turn down your oven to 350, and it should go for another about 20 minutes. I'll let you know exactly how long this one stayed in, but it does vary to everyone's oven. You do want your streusels to be somewhat golden in color. What happens sometimes is that the edge of your cake, the edge of the dough, starts to brown too quickly. So if you're at that stage where the edge of your cake is browned, just move your cake lower down in the oven and turn on broiled. but keep a really good eye on it just until you get your streusel a nice golden color. So these are going to go in the oven now, and I'll let you know exactly how long I left it in once it's done. So here we go, folks. I just took it out of the oven. So in total it was in there for 5 minutes on 400. Then I turned the oven down to 350, left it in for another 25 minutes. And then I wanted the streusels just a little darker, so I then turned off the oven and put it on broil with the cake in the lower third of the oven for 1.5 minutes. So here, as you can see, the streusels are just starting to brown, which is exactly what you want. The outside of the cake is a nice golden color. There's the whole cake. So now it needs to cool. Once that's done, I'll cut a piece, show you guys what that looks like. But yeah, there you have it. That took probably about an hour from beginning to end, maybe not even. And there you go. German apple streusel cake. Be back in a few minutes. Well, instantly actually when you're talking YouTube time, but I'll probably let this cool for a couple of hours and then I'll slice a piece and show you guys. Here you have it. A nice square of German apple streusel cake. As you can see, the dough is nice and crumbly and moist. These streusels are crispy at this point. You can just leave it out on the counter for a day or two. It'll stay nice. You can also freeze this cake, but what will happen when you freeze it is that the streusels obviously are not going to stay as crisp. They get a bit softer and chewier, but still not bad. So if you have leftover, feel free, put them in the freezer and you can always enjoy them whenever you like. So here you go. I hope you enjoy this. You can have this with ice cream, you can have it with whipping cream, or just as is. I'm going to sit down and have this piece right now. I'm looking forward to it. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell, give this recipe a shot. Your family will love it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.